My name's Mike Sullivan. I do oral surgery for a living and fly and build planes for fun. Join me on my journey off the beaten path as I build my Rans S-21 Outbound. So we are in for a long video here. Thought we'd just go ahead and jump right into the wings. And why not just go ahead and cut a hole in the forward spar of the wing a couple weeks after you got the kit. Actually turned out to be a pretty good idea. And it went really, really smooth. Everything went okay. But building the wings is a long project with a lot of parts. And the hardest of which is getting this truss to get bolted up with that forward spar. It is a serious challenge. So I have about 530 hours into this project. I'm doing this video and getting caught up with my content. But so far, that is the hardest thing. It was the hardest thing then, and it still holds the cake. This is the general fit up of the Rans option for the forward spar, the landing light. These pictures are kind of interesting because they are actually taken by accident. This is a phone in the forward D-spar, one of the key features and special things about the Rans S-21. And I've got a phone in there trying to figure out how I can see the bolts for getting that truss, the wing truss. There's some bolts. Trying to get that wing truss. Oh, there's another tactic. Got the giant vice grip wrench with a rubber band around the wrench. Anyway, that was the toughest thing, and it really took a lot. Always good to see the wifey in the house, helping out with the wings. I always love it when she's helping. This is the finished product of the bell cranks for the flaps and ailerons in the wings. And this all happened right at Christmas break, thanks to Jamie at Rans for getting us this kit right at Christmas break 2022. So we got a lot going on. People are coming and going. Patrick's over there at the desk on the left. He was studying his boater safety course. My dad is there helping, which is, this is what building a plane is all about for us, and something I was super excited about. Just doing it as a family and as a team. And of course, I spent a lot of time here by myself, but it was great that everybody can help participate and be there, especially at Christmas time when the kids are off of school. Jacko's there helping me clean the place up, and this time-lapse video is, a great thing. I really do like time-lapse video, but if you slow it down, you capture more than you normally would think, and that's the best part right there, the high five at the end. Clearly, he was feeling pumped, feeling good. And why not? We just had a great day working with his grandfather, his cousin, and his dad on a new plane. It was pretty awesome. So you can see over on the right, we've got the wing frame set up on the rack over there by the wall. And we are just getting started on the next wing. So what I did was I built the frame for the one wing, put that off to the side. Then I was going to build the frame for the next one. And here we are working on the hardest thing, or the hardest part, which is getting that truss fitted up to the forward spar. My tactic for the second time I built the wing frame was to have someone with smaller hands come and help. And that actually worked out pretty well. It was a lot easier with somebody with smaller hands and two people doing the job. On the first wing, I must have spent 4 hours trying to get that wing truss hooked up to that forward spar, but Jack really helped me and we did a good job. It's awesome to be working on the plane as a family, and nothing like having the wifey in the house. She's just working on this plane like a boss. We're also trying to figure out the heater situation. You gotta see these moves. Watch this. Boom, yeah. She's been doing this for years. She knows what she's doing. Meanwhile, the boys are trying to figure out how to stay warm because it's about January, and it's a little bit chilly in there, in the fort. So, there's Meg again. She's just breaking out the moves with these clecos. And I'm just standing over there like, what the?
Are you kidding me?
Yes, that was my wife, Meghan, and clearly she got my attention. What she was referencing about kidding, I'm really not too sure. But All right, so the process is you put the entire thing together the first time around. Then you have to take it apart and deburr it. And if you see Jack there with a piece of sandpaper, he is deburring. Any holes that you drill, you've got to deburr it. And now Jack is standing there at the toolbox, which is where the camera's sitting on top of it. I actually filmed these with, this section I actually filmed with my iPad Pro. So after you get the whole thing deburred, taken apart, deburred, then you put it all back together. And so that's what we're doing right here. We are putting all of the ribs back between the forward spar, which is to the right of the screen, and the aft spar, or the rear spar, the rear part of the wing, which is the left, which is where both Meghan and I are working. And doing it this method is good because you get to put the thing together 3 times essentially before you are finished with it, and that gives plenty of time for double checking and rechecking, make sure everything goes together right before you pull any rivets in the end. Because once you pull a rivet, it's not the absolute end, but it's kind of the final move. You can punch out a rivet and you can put a new one in, but that is a delicate procedure that you don't want to do it if you don't have to. And there's a little bit of risk because punching out or drilling out the rivet can make the hole a little bit bigger, and then that same size rivet won't fit in it. It'll be too small and it'll pull through. Don't ask me how I know, of course, because I've never had to do that. No, I've had to do it several times. In fact, one time I was putting together the part of the fuselage, and I think I put in like 111 of the wrong rivets. The next part is very important. You will see me getting out my phone there, and I am using an app on my phone to make sure that the wing is level and square. Really, square is the big issue. I use an app on my phone called Clinometer, and it works very, very well. I was a little bit skeptical at first, not knowing if how accurate it would be or what the tolerances were on it, but I have come to find out that it is extremely accurate as any other digital level that you would find at one of the big box stores. The important part, of course, is that you just put it in the same location on both ends of whatever piece you are building, whether that's the horizontal stabilizer, elevator, trim tab, wing, fuselage, whatever it is. You got to make sure that these things are square and that they're less than a couple tenths of a degree off. So that app on my phone, I have been using Clinometer. I did eventually buy a digital level that you'll see me use in future builds, and it works, but for the phone does do the trick, especially for this section. So after you do that final check, you make sure that it is square, which it is, and you'll see that I've got it all blocked up on 2x4s, and there are some shims where needed. Those tables are pretty level, so I didn't need very many shims. Then we are ready to go ahead and pull some rivets here. Once you pull the rivets, then the wing frame will be completed, but there's a lot of rivets to be pulled here, so enjoy watching. So as I am taking my sweet time doing this riveting, Meghan is at the other end. She is taking out clecos and putting in the appropriate rivets. So if each of those ribs on the aft spar have 3 holes or 3 clecos holding them in, so she'll take out maybe one of the 3 and then put in a rivet to be pulled in that location. And she's got to wait about a decade here to get by me, and she is the most patient wife ever. I have to say that as far on the subject of building a plane with your wife, I have learned something about myself, really, as far as it comes to marriage communication. And that is, when I am fully engaged in this. I am not really the best communicator, and my sweet wife Megan is sweet and patient and loving and kind. And you know, I by the way came to this realization on my own while editing these videos, that I could probably do a little bit better job paying attention to the people around me and listening to them as much as I want them to listen to me. At any rate, I am certainly blessed and certainly lucky to have a family to build this plane with, and that they are willing to tolerate me as I'm trying to learn this process too. And as I'm in my own little world here riveting, Meghan is at the other end of the table reading the instructions, and she's a great helper here, you know, just making sure that we are following the instructions the right way, putting the right rivets in the right locations, and that our plane is going together so it keeps us up in the air and that we're able to enjoy it for many years to come. Now that we've got this thing mostly riveted together, it's time for a little water break. And my wife Megan is much more of an Instagrammer than I am. So after she has a sip of water, where it's time to admire our work here, and she whips out the Cleco pliers there to get a little bit of Insta footage. So we're gonna go ahead and end the video, this step one stage of the building the wings video here. It's been a long video. Thanks for watching. If you could hit the like button and the subscribe button to help me build this YouTube channel, that would be great. That makes a big difference. I really appreciate it. It's been good sharing all this with you guys, and looking forward to putting together more of these videos.